Okay, so today we are going to be having a look at a VeloBuild TT-023 frame that has just been delivered, and the tools that we're going to need will be obviously a knife to open the box, some gloves so that we don't get it all dirty, a inspection camera to inspect the inside of the frame, and obviously the obligatory weighing of the frame, and also if needed we will be taking some measurements with some vernier calipers. So let's get started. We'll just move all of these out of the way and get organised with some gloves. The frame was, should be a matte black, which is their standard, their standard frame that comes off their website, and it is a medium frame with 420 bars and long armrests. So I'm slightly longer than most in the arms. So the box, as we can see, is a nice sized box. The box weighs in at just over 5 kilos, I believe. Said on the shipping there, just on 5 kilos. So anyway, we will open it up and see what's inside. As we can see in the box here, there's quite a few bits and pieces that were ordered with it, and we'll just pull them out and put them on the table, and then we'll open them up as we go. Looks like it's been very well wrapped. Trying not to damage any of the carbon bits. Almost everything in the box. That's everything in the box, so let's get that out of our way and have a look. And start with the easy stuff. So this is the base bars that we're looking at here. So standard they should come with 20, 10 and 5mm risers to lift the bars up. I did request, as part of my order, some extra risers, so hopefully they have come in here. We will have a look as we put things apart. So there we go. These are the newer style. I think they're actually called tennis rackets, because of the shape. So, and they will be mounted on there eventually. Have a left side, and just keep moving all this rubbish out of the way as we go. to your right side here. So I've also managed to get a carbon fibre water bottle for the back of the bike frame, which I will show you how that mounts, and some extra bolts, extra screws and bolts for the head, and also for increasing the height of these base bars. And they're extra long ones for base bars as well, which I requested. It has a fully integrated head end, so all the cables will come through here, and they'll come out through here straight into the bars, and then we'll run either out through the front here for the brakes, or you can route them back out through here and then up for if you're going manual levers, they'll run through there and into the bar. So you run through in through the bar and then up, so you can run your cable levers if you need. Very well packaged. These are the top and bottom bearings for the front forks, as well as the head. So once we trim the front forks, so it all screws down, and that will be concealed. Well, actually, if you don't, it's obviously we can use this, so we don't need to actually use this. We'll pull that off and put it in there instead. But we'll see how that all goes when we actually go and attempt to build the frame. Down and just see what else we got. Deliberately using a blunt knife is probably a bad idea. So this weird and wonderful looking contraption actually goes on the back of the seat post, which we'll have a look at in a minute, and the water bottle mount, or the water bottle will mount on the back like that behind the seat post. A minute. More water bottles for the frame itself. So there's two actual water bottle mounts on the frame itself. Again, they're carbon. They should be carbon fibre. These ones are high gloss ones. One of them's high gloss and the other one's not. So we'll have to pick and choose how we mount them so it doesn't look too odd when the frame's all built. Now, obviously these here are the pads, which will, the double-sided sticky tape, which will obviously sit in here and hopefully give the forearms and elbows a little bit of comfort during riding. Well, I seem to be running out of a little bit of space here, so I'll just shuffle things around. There we go. So here is the seat post. At least that's what it looks like. So just without scratching the carbon. So, as I mentioned before, this water bottle holder here mounts just on there, as you can see, and provides a third spot for water bottles for a little bit of extra hydration. And then the seat post itself, the seat will just sit on as you would expect and hopefully sit far enough forward. It's got a nice bit of roughage there, so hopefully we won't need too much carbon fixing to ensure that the seat post doesn't slip and slide around while we're riding. Moving our parts this way. Okay, next is the carbon forks. So we'll have a bit of a look. So this should be similar to the seat, matte black forks. The reason I chose this particular frame was because of the disc brakes. I'm upgrading from a rim brake bike to aluminium rim brake with rims with aluminium rims as well, I should say, to a full carbon bike with carbon rims, and hopefully in a few weeks we should actually see the wheels as well. So this is for the internal cable routing to come in for the brakes. They run down inside and pop out here, and then we'll be able to mount the front disc brakes on here. They take 160mm discs for the brakes. And in a minute we shall have a bit of a look through here with our inspection camera and just have a little bit of sticky beak to see what it looks like. But everything looks relatively standard, nicely finished. Should have brought down some Allen keys, but looks like we'll get away with being able to undo this by hand and have a bit of a look at what we're doing here. So on the screw side, it's full carbon. There's no aluminium inserts at all, I would say, but there's a little bit there that feels like there might be something, bit of an overspray on the plastic. We might have to sand that down once we get the wheels, but we'll know once we get the wheels and try and insert them. And then on the other side here, we just have obviously an aluminium fitting inside the carbon, which has been pressed or fixed into the carbon as part of, so that it screws in so we don't get wear on the carbon from the vibration of the bike. So that's kind of to be expected, and it looks quite nicely finished on the outside, and on the inside looks very clean. And it screws in very smoothly, so won't need to check the thread on that at all. Okay. Now the actual bike frame itself is maybe a bit more fun to open. Here is the full matte frame. There is no logos on the frame at all. It's what I would call a nice stealth frame. We can move this upside. You might be able to start to see what it looks These guys, VeloBuild will do the frame pretty much any paint colour you want on request, but I was going for a very classical stealth frame look this time round, with some I've got some matte wheels coming as well, so the entire bike will be very much as black as it can be. And in later videos we'll see that even all the tape and all of the gears and everything that I've chosen, I've tried to stay with as dark a colour as possible. All of this very, very well packed frame, which is lovely to see. During shipping, when there was no rattling in the box at all when it was delivered, and the frame itself, have to be banging it around on the table, which is probably not the best of ideas. It's extremely well packed. Everything off the floor in a minute so I don't trip over. Being the clumsy person that I am. So, as you can see, here that is the frame. Yeah, it's beautiful. Nicely finished matte black. A few little marks on it, but I think that's all from the wrapping, and once I give it a nice wipe down with a moist towel, all of that white lining should come off it. Now the frame itself has, obviously the bottom bracket there is a T47 dub bracket, or T47 86.5 mil. I will be putting a T47 dub in this with a dub crankset, but I won't be using a SRAM. I will be using something else that I bought from China as well. So, and the finish is actually quite nice. Even inside there, the seat post, when you mount it, the mounts go in here. Got the two water bottle holders, as I mentioned. All the internal cable routing, which will come through. So if you were doing, again, cable gears, the cable would come out here and mount straight up onto the bracket. And then obviously on the back here, we can see this is where the brake will come out and then mount on here. We'll see how the brakes mount. We might actually have to just give that face a little bit of a clean, as it has paint on it, but it looks okay. And maybe also around here we probably have to just give this a bit of a clean of all the paint, just to see how the bottom bracket fits. But we'll see how that goes when we mount it. And then obviously for your rear, wires will come out there. If they go through the frame, you'll go through the frame as well. And then finally we'll have a bit of a look-see here. The finish. So again, it's quite nice. In on this side, the wheel should actually fit in there quite well. And on that side as well, it's nicely finished. That's the aluminium that mounts through. So on this side, instead of As you saw on the forks, it was actually inlaid. This one is actually designed slightly differently, so it's actually tightened through and press fitted. So hopefully that means there'll be a little less wear and tear on the carbon frame. Although we'll have to look up the torque settings of that to make sure if we don't get that movement, because that's going to be a bit painful down the track. Okay, so just taking here. We'll look at two of the parts fade, so we haven't had a bit of a dig through yet. So yeah, that should be quite nice and narrow on that side, as we can see. We'll just get a bit of this down here gently. Does not sound so good, so we've had a look at that. That's the top plates. So in here we've got a few seals for the end bars. So if we were not to put any gearing on the top here of these fellas, they've given us a couple of plugs. So I will be 3D printing up some shifters for the digital SRAM taps that I'll be installing on this bike down the track. And in this one, this is just a nice little cover that sits in the seat post itself. So that gets inserted in there and covers the hole in the seat post there, just so that it's got a nice little finish and you don't see all the bits and pieces. And in here we should have a couple of things. We've got a spare bottom hanger, which may come in handy. I have heard that people have been breaking bottom hangers. I don't put down that much power, so hopefully that won't be an issue. That is to mount the seat. As you can see, it's fairly simple design. As you tighten it up, it slides forward and applies pressure to the seat post and keeps it in place. And then what do we have here? Actually not too sure what those are for. That's the spacer on the handlebars, the spacer that goes in here for when we're feeding through everything through the top of the frame. All our cables, there's just a bit of space for the cables. It's got a crush thing on it, so as you tighten it up, it'll crush and it shouldn't damage the brake lines and the cables. And I'm actually not too sure what these are for, but I suspect. Oh, actually, sorry, they're the replacements for this. No, there we go. So they're just extra parts for the seat posts. I'm not sure why we've got those, but yeah. So we've got a few extra parts there. I don't seem to see the extra risers I ordered, but that's okay. We'll order some separate if we need them once it's all put together. So yeah, that's the frame and all its bits. Now the box came as 5 kilos, so we might we can give it a quick weigh and just see what the frame itself is without the forks, which is going to be fun to balance on these tiny little scales. I already have problems. Oh, why is it on? Let's fix the units. Some point. So this is 1.498 kilos. So basically 1.5 kilos for the frame itself, which is 1.5 now that I've breathed on it. So that's actually not too bad, really. I'm just trying to find some of the frames a bit over out of our way. Alright, the forks themselves, for 463 grams. So again, not too bad. They will obviously come out slightly lighter than that because it's a medium frame. We will need to cut the steerer down, probably to somewhere around there, but we will do that in another video. How are we going to go about doing that? There's plenty of YouTube videos on that, but watching me do it and mess it up could be kind of fun. So, yeah, that also weighs in at 486 grams. So the bottom base bars are almost as heavy or heavier than the forks themselves, but that's okay. It's to be expected with all the kit and all the steel on it. And then the actual headset itself is basically 258 grams, so that's not too bad. With the seat post and a few other bits and pieces, I think we should be coming in about just around about 2.5 kilos by the sounds of it, maybe 3. These arms are so much fun to weigh. So each one with the padding, the padding on the edge is for the heck of it, 182. So 2 of those we're looking at what, 360 odd, 165. That's again not too bad. And then finally the seat post itself, with all the screws and everything, is 180 grams. So again, not too bad. So yeah, maybe a bit over 3 kilos the bike will be when it's all built, said and done, which shouldn't be too bad for weight. What I'm going to do is just grab this fun little camera here. As you can see, this is a very, very basic inspection camera, which I'll plug into my phone. Show you in a second what we're looking at. So once it's plugged into the phone, it's just got a little light for our own entertainment, and then we will be able to, as we go down here, it's not a fantastic one. This is just a cheap camera, but you can see in there. So the white and lighter colours are to be expected in there, and it's just as we work our way down, there's not actually much to show you. The camera's not showing the best of things, but I do see, looking down the hole there, that there's a little bit of, I don't know if you can see that there's a little bit of carbon overflow just here, so that could make running the cables there quite difficult. So you can just kind of see there, and I'll show you the actual video on the phone when I put it all together. But hopefully we'll be able to just get past that, the inspection camera. It's just hitting the edge of it. Looks like what they've done is they've put an extra bit of extra thick carbon around there because there's a whole lip right around it. It's just probably so that when they cut the hole with the router, they didn't weaken it in any way. So we might try going in a slightly different way, but again, we can't really get in there. That's okay. It's worth a look. So again, we'll just have a quick look inside the seat post itself. You can see there it's all very clean, very nice. There's a little bit of extra build up just over there on that left hand edge at the top, but it doesn't look like it's anything too dramatic to worry about. A little bit of extra thickness probably doesn't hurt. And finally, I'm just going to move some of this off the table so that we can bring the frame back onto the table and maybe have a quick look with the bright light and see if it will show us anything untoward. But based on what we've seen with these front, so far with everything else, it actually looks like it should be fine. So, just having a quick look in here. So the headset's very clean, nice and tidy all around here. Actually looks and feels very smooth. The bearings should sit quite nicely on both. Better not do that, I might move that. Not good for the carbon, be belting it like that. Around this side is all quite nice and smooth as well. And as we saw in here before, that actually looks really good. A little bit of weird extra layering that can be seen from the other side just there, but it doesn't look terrible. And there's the tiny hole at the bottom, I guess, is to let any water ingress out, but it also will probably let water ingress in, so we'll need to be aware of the fact that we might have to seal it. So given I'm going to be going electronic shifting, I'm really only concerned with the flow up this side. And again, looking, there's a little bit of carbon build up there where the camera's not really wanting to move too far, so it might make inserting the cables quite difficult. Hopefully not too bad. Coming this way, it looks okay, so we might call that okay. And finally, just down through here, just have a quick look at the frame through here. There's a nice extra bit of strength around these bars here, inside there. And otherwise the plugs look pretty good for all the screws and everything. We can just see there that the plugs actually don't look too bad through there. And then back